It's a stormy day in LA, but last night Kyle Kuzma made it rain. 14 points in the first quarter on his way to 20. Will he get his second straight start? That may depend on the big guys. Anthony Davis was sidelined last night. He and LeBron both have injury issues to be resolved. It's the Lakers and Blazers in the final game of this four-game homestand to open this season. Tip-off is at 7 here on Spectrum Sportsnet. The Lakers have won 8 of the last 11 meetings, including 4 of 5 in the opening round of last season's playoffs. As we say hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. I'm Allie Clifton, joined by the Hall of Famer, big game James Worthy, 7-time champ Robert Horry. Mike Bresnan is here. Mike Trudell will join us in a minute. Geeter is running point for halftime and post. Rob, it's the first time we've seen you since the real show began. Good to see you.
I know. Happy holidays to you guys. I missed you guys. You know, y'all had Fish here, but y'all didn't have me here, even though I've been here longer, but okay.
Well, we talked about you, though. We talked about you on the show.
That's good. And I apologize. I was out doing honeydew, so I didn't get a chance to see the show. So blame Candace. Candace is your fault.
A smart man.
Happy wife, happy life is not blaming it on your wife.
But I missed the game, though. I missed y'all show.
It's all right.
Okay.
You can get caught up here.
Okay,
You don't record it?
Thank you, big game.
I'm not in that day and age where I can record stuff.
Okay. How old are you again? Let's first update you. We've got some update, guys. The Lakers duo in their status for tonight. LeBron James, who was initially listed as questionable after re-aggravating his left ankle sprain, will play tonight. Anthony Davis will also be in the starting lineup after sitting out last night's win against the T-Wolves with a right calf contusion. So both LBJ and AD are playing. LeBron said if he's ready to go, he will be out there. Are you surprised to see him take the floor tonight, especially with a back-to-back this early in the season?
I'm a little bit surprised after, I think twice turning that ankle in the last couple of weeks or so. And then AD, with his calf, we talked about that last night, how that could be, difficult sometimes if there's a strain there, or I think Fish was talking about sometimes it could be like a groin. So with back-to-back, I'm a little bit surprised, but, this is what the champions do. If they can play, if they feel like they're at that point where they can go, maybe that's 90%, maybe that's 95%, I don't know. They're giving it a shot, so they're leading by example.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked, especially, this early in the season, tweaking the ankle twice, and I think he's playing because, you know what, I feel like he's probably not in playing shape yet. Because we know he didn't play that much in preseason, so he's trying to get in and out, and knowing that they back-to-back will have tomorrow off, more than likely, and so he's just trying to get that conditioning so he'll be ready down the line.
He's also someone that's very aware of what he does against other teams. He's pretty good against the Blazers, guys. 28, 9 boards, and almost 8 assists a game for his career.
Yeah. I mean, and he realizes he's got some newcomers, and LeBron's a true leader. He's realized, maybe I just want to play, maybe limited minutes with these new guys, keep that cohesiveness going. So there's a variety of reasons why he may be playing, but he's playing.
So did Carmelo make the trip?
He did not.
He did not make the trip?
We're actually going to get into that in just a minute.
That's why he was going to play. He want to kick his boy's butt.
And there's that. I also think, though, you guys make a really good point. If he feels good enough, and it's early in the season, Rob, as you mentioned, getting in shape, the games early on, especially you got new faces, you're looking to build that foundation. It's important to be out there on the floor.
Yeah, you got to have some cohesiveness going on in this game. You think about it. He's playing with 3 guys that's playing a lot of minutes that he hadn't played with before. He's getting a little rapport with Gasol, so he's doing that. But I still want to see him get a better rapport with Harold, because Harold is a great roller, and they're trying to get that little relationship going there. So he's still learning those guys just like those guys are learning to play with him.
You may not have been watching our show, but you've been watching the game. Good to see.
I watched the rerun.
Let's get you live to Staples Center. We got some more updates with Lakers reporter Mike Trudell. Lake Show looking to win their 3rd straight. What's the latest, Mike?
Hey guys, what's happening? Well, the latest, Sally, thankfully you covered, is that LeBron James is going to play. It's something I've always appreciated about him, and I thought the narrative probably skewed too far in all the preseason talk about how many games potentially he and AD may miss. These guys do want to play. Now, if there's a legit injury, like AD had with a calf contusion last game, and that, sure, they can take the precautious route, but LeBron James is going to play if he feels capable and healthy of playing, and we're going to see him on the floor tonight. Now, there is one other player, though, basically the Lakers' 3rd MVP candidate. You can find out who that is when Frank Vogel answers the question about who's in and who's out momentarily.
Anthony's going to play. LeBron is going to play. His ankle feels fine, and so he'll be in. And Alex is not going to play tonight, but not because of the wrist. He's not playing because of the league's health and safety protocols.
Okay, is that all you can say about that, Frank? Any follow-up with Alex and sort of how that came about?
Forrest Gump, that's all I can say about that.
Got it. With the matchup with Portland last year, a little bit of a different team. They added 2 wings in Covington and Jones Jr. Just wonder what you've seen on them from tape, and if you see that makes them any different as an overall team.
Yeah, they're different for sure, and we're not going to see them with Carmelo, but they're both athletic wing defenders, who can impact the game, and they've given them a good early burst in their first 2 games, and definitely think they're better at those positions.
Dan.
Hey Frank, I'm curious, how have you been able to kind of keep staff from, and I guess maybe is all the staff good with like contact tracing and stuff? First of all, then how have you been able to keep them safe as you've had these players kind of fall into these health and safety protocols?
Well, everything we do, at work, so to speak, or in our travel party and everything is designed to, not only keep us safe from the virus, but, to protect us from, quarantine, situations. If we're not following the protocols and, and a staff member is in close contact with someone, then, they're going to be subject to a potential close contact quarantine. That's at work. If we're following, that's why we feel like it's safe to go through an NBA season the way we're doing it. Because all these protocols are in place to keep everyone safe. So we make sure we follow them, and I think the things that you have to think about is that's not the only place people are. You know what I mean? If any of us has a situation where a family member tests positive or something like that, we could all be subject to that type of close contact quarantine. But in terms of what we're doing at work, like these protocols are designed to keep us safe.
All right, there's Frank Vogel. And look, guys, bottom line, the biggest difference between this team and the Blazers and really the Lakers and many other teams, their 2 superstars can play and impact the game on both ends. LeBron and AD, offense and defense. And really, Dame and CJ haven't been able to have that same kind of defensive impact. We'll see if they can get some pickup from the new wings they got there up in Portland.
No doubt about it. Thanks so much, Mike. Guys, before we go to break, we obviously want to touch on the fact that no Alex Caruso tonight, as well as you mentioned Carmelo Anthony did not travel with the Blazers due to health and safety protocols put in by the league. This is just another element. It is what it is, the day and age of what we're living in with COVID-19. Teams will have to adjust and adapt on the fly.
Yeah, no question. I mean, they did an exceptional job inside the bubble, but you have to know that outside the bubble, things can't be the same. So I think the minimum risk they can keep down will be good, but we are going to have situations where guys are going to have to, adhere to protocol. So hopefully it'll be, limited to less, but outside the bubble, it is a lot more difficult to handle, obviously, than within.
Yeah. Rob, it puts a lot of emphasis on the Lakers' depth.
Yeah, it does, and it's going to be very crucial because you never know who's going to come in contact with the virus. And it's amazing how it's something that you can take all the precautions that you can, and it's somebody that's outside of your family coming. Who knows if your wife, your girlfriend, your brother, your sister goes to the market and comes back, then you catch it. And it's amazing that the NBA is controlling and not having that many cases because this virus is deadly.
The thing that's crazy is the Lakers haven't even traveled.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Which is why we are practicing social distance. People always wonder, why are you standing? Because
always.
I enjoy standing. It's comfortable. Rob's back's going to be hurting from sitting down so long over there in a second.
It already hurts from 16 years in the NBA.
What up, Briz?
Exactly. 6 feet apart, 20 feet apart, masks at all times. Do it, people. Do it. Keep it here for the Lakers and Blazers at 7 o'clock. Kenny Pope has been knocking them down this season. A perfect 3 for 3 last night from the last 2 games, but have looked dominant doing it. Up next, Brez joins us to break down the keys to tonight's. With that, we welcome in our Lakers insider, Mike Bresnahan. It's time for Brez's three-point play, three things that you were looking forward to in this game. And the Lakers have dominated in the last two, Brez, but you're liking what you're seeing all around.
Yeah, do you remember opening night?
No.
Me neither. Yeah, definitely the Lakers have atoned since then. Two strong victories, pinned 138 points on Dallas, and then against Minnesota last night, almost got there, 127 points. Good defense, though, against the T-Wolves, holding them to 91. A couple hustle stat categories I've liked in each game. Against Dallas, the big one we've talked about a little bit, they outscored them in second chance points, 35-0. That's the most second chance points for the Lakers since 1996. And last night, I like the fact that they held Minnesota to 17% shooting behind the arc. And D'Angelo Russell, former Laker, former All-Star, 4 points and 7 turnovers. So Lakers playing really good defense and hustling a lot. I like both those categories.
And guess who's a part of that on both ends? You're still driving the Kuz bus. Kuz was great again last night.
Yeah, he's been something special. We kind of got a hint of what he might shoot like during the regular season with this strong preseason, about 50% from three-point range. He has done more than that so far in only three regular season games, shooting about 62% from three-point range. And there's the chart right there. I think he likes the right corner, Allie. That's my scouting report right there. Also pretty comfy on the upper left side over there. Kuz really impressed by what he has been doing, and not just offensively. He had tied his career high last night with 3 block shots. So good offense, good defense for Kuz. Just a reminder, he's a 33% career guy from behind the arc. It's not going to stay at 62%, that's for sure. But if he can stay in the 40 percentiles, that's a big step for him.
Good start, for sure. Lakers' opponents tonight, the Portland Trailblazers, are coming in at 1-1, but they struggled a bit to start the season.
Yeah, what's going on with them, Allie? Are they hungover from their strong bid to even secure a playoff spot in the bubble? Remember, they pretty much had to win all their games. But some strange stuff going on up there. Like you said, they are 1-1. Damian Lillard, 9 points in the opener. I mean, this guy who had 61 and 51 in back-to-back games in the bubble, just not shooting real well as a team. Carmelo Anthony, 33%. Gary Trent Jr., 31%. Their big offseason acquisition, Robert Covington, 30%. Granted, they've only played a couple games. These numbers will surely rise, but not the fastest start for the Blazers. They're kind of lucky they got that guy right there, C.J. McCollum, 44 points the other night. It helped them beat a very undermanned Houston team in overtime. So the Trailblazers not exactly off to a blazing start.
And of course, I like that.
Got to throw it in there.
Well done. Of course, no Carmelo Anthony again.
Not here.
Did not travel with the team. Well done, as always. Welcome back. Last night, Kyle Kuzma got the starting nod with AD out, and he made the most of it. He scored all of his 20 points before halftime and added 3 assists and 3 blocks. He was also a staggering plus 38 in the game. Kuz, never lacking confidence, wasn't surprised at his results.
Just having more opportunity, that's just the thing with me. Anytime I have opportunity, I just try to seize the moment and take it full on. And in a season like this, playing back-to-backs, coach and the organization being conservative with Brown and AD, it just allows me to, on those nights, just work on my game and put to life with game reps, what I work on every day, rather than, more so when they're playing and, we play a different style of basketball.
The game is just slowing down for him. I mean, his ability to score the ball, we all know about that. His shot-making ability, either guarded or unguarded. But what he's done this year so far, what he did through our short training camp, and what he did actually, later in the postseason, you started to see the extra pass. He started seeing plays happen, and you look at the pass that he had to KCP in transition tonight. You see the dump off that he had to Treyas for a dunk. He's just starting to make plays and see plays, that he didn't see, in his first couple of years, and that's all part of growth. I mean, he's in year 4, and the game is just slowing down tremendously for him, and he's going out there and just playing the game.
Speaking of growth, look at the numbers here for Kuz, stepping up as a starter versus off the bench. This, of course, is for the last 2 seasons. That mentality, guys, it's not something that is easy. You certainly have to find it, but it's something that Kuz has been able to do. Big shot. and he's taking full advantage of it.
You know, first of all, it boils down to confidence, and we know Kuz got more confidence than everybody in this room. And so when you have confidence like that, it comes out in your game. And when you have your teammates backing you and saying, hey, you need to do this and this, it gives you more confidence, which we all know Kuz doesn't need, but it carries over to the court, and you can see it, the way he's playing the game, the way he's passing the basketball, the way he's having a little bit of joy. If you look at him now on the court, it seems like he has more joy. His body language is like a basketball player who's enjoying the moment. You know, sometimes winning the championship can take a load off the thing.
No question. I mean, we all come into this league with talent. And the one thing that Kuz has learned to do, especially the last couple of years, he's learned to learn from the best. And he's learned to recognize where he is. You know, the Lakers kept him while guys like Ball and Randall and Ingram left. We talked about how he's had to overcome some injuries. But I think the one thing that I like about him lately is that he's learned how to learn from LeBron and AD, recognize, okay, wait a minute, this is a whole new operation than what I came into. So, you know, it's hard when you have talent and you just want to burst out. He kind of just took it easy, learned other aspects of the game. You were just talking about how you couldn't believe how he had 3 blocks in the game, learning to share the basketball. So, yeah. And now he sees what his potential really is going to be in the next couple of years if he just keeps on, you know, playing the way he's playing.
And guys, this isn't something that just started this season. It's not something that developed in him over the short and off season. I think we started to see this growth from Kuz during the bubble, which really paid off. As you mentioned, he then becomes a champion. At what point in your career did the game start to slow down for you, and what that feels like? People don't always understand when you can read and react and play the game that way versus it coming so fast and just being a little bit more so. For one player, what is that feeling like?
For me, it took about 2 to 3 seasons for me, because people don't understand when you come into this league, a lot of these guys come in, they are the man immediately. When you have to come in, you have to sit behind the man, and you sit there and you have to learn from them. You have to understand they are the priority on this team. They get all the plays. Sometimes it's kind of hard to figure it out, because most guys who were drafted in the first round were the man on their basketball team in college, so they're not used to being second fiddle. You know, so now you got to sit back and say, how do I figure this out? And sometimes some guys are smarter at figuring it out. Some guys it takes a little bit longer. And for Kuz, I think he's been that guy who's like, oh, I got it, and then he loses, and I got it and loses. It just hasn't been consistent, because we see those games where he can step up and be the man, and we see those games like, oh, he looks like he's a little lost. But I think now that he has that championship, it's giving him that confidence to go out and just say, hey, man, I got my championship. I got my new contract. Let's just ball.
Pregame, you've talked about it. You were the #1 pick.
I was #1 pick, came in with tons of confidence, and Kurt Rambis beat my ass in practice so bad, I had to go sit over there for a couple years and learn how to play the game, because it's more than talent.
Yep.
It is, you know, 82-game schedule. It's how you practice. You know, it's a lot of stuff combined, and a power forward in college is not the same as a power forward in the NBA. So I had to learn how to become a small forward and wait my turn. So, yeah, I mean, you know, and Kuz is doing the same thing. And then you get to a point where you start peaking around 27 years old is where you really start to kind of get it. You've been through some things, and then you got, what, Rob, 7, 8 good years left, so hopefully. Yep. So, hopefully. Yeah, it's perfect timing for him.
And Kuz is only 25.
Exactly.
But like everything, we want it like instant oatmeal these days. And for Kuz, the way his career started, always having the ball in his hand and being able to do what he did, to then LeBron James said, hello.
Yeah, you know, it's weird, because if you think about it, he steps into this league, they're just freelancing. You know, nobody's expecting them to win. So you can do what you need to do to try to just play basketball and enjoy the moment and not really think the game. You plan the game. And people don't understand that's 2 different things. There's a lot of people who can play this game, and there's a lot of people who can think this game, but can you put the 2 together and make a good product?
And in college, you get maybe 1 elite player, maybe once a week, twice a week. NBA, 3 or 4 times a week, you're going up against a Hall of Famer. So you don't get no time off. It makes you a man quickly.
Spoken like a true Hall of Famer. The Lakers and Blazers are about a half hour from tip-off here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Dennis Schroeder, he's off to a fast start in L.A. Dennis the Menace is averaging 14-6 along with 8 assists, 4 blocks. Head coach Frank Vogel has preached getting the big man more involved offensively, and last night it all came together.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. we just didn't do it enough the first 2 games. And, like I said, we were really moving the basketball well as a group. It wasn't just calling Mark's play to play to him at the top of the key. We were in attack mode. Guys were thinking extra pass, and then the ball swings to him up top. And everybody knows when the ball swings to Marc Gasol, that triggers movement, and you see the cutting. You see his ability to pinpoint some of those passes. And then just the space that he carries the threat of shooting the 3 ball brings the other team's center away from the basket. So there's more driving lanes, cutting lanes, etc. He knocked down 3 for 3 from the 3-point line, and really just had a great night. And honestly, he was great on the defensive end as well. Our guys are really starting to pick up the details of our scheme, and he did a great job on both sides of the ball.
And certain guys just see plays before they happen, and able to do it with their mind, do it with the pass. And Mark is one of those guys. Just his basketball IQ, is like he said, there's not many that kind of see the game like that. So, I've been privileged to back-to-back years to be alongside Doe and now be alongside Mark, who sees the game very similar to the way I see it.
Guys, check this out. LeBron taking to IG with this awesome photo. Kobe and Pau and him with Marc Gasol. Almost identical photos. Of the few things I like about social media, this is one of them. When it can highlight and showcase.
Yeah, and how ironic. I mean, his brother played with, one of the greatest, and then his younger brother comes along and plays with the younger version of that iconic, decade, LeBron James. That's something they'll be talking about for a long time.
Guys, I want to dive into Marc Gasol a little bit. We know how great of a passer LeBron James is. He's made it very clear it's his favorite part of the game. But we also know how critical it is to have a playmaker alongside of him throughout his career. And I think we're seeing that with Dennis Schroeder. Obviously, we saw it last year. Ron just mentioned it with Rajon Rondo. To have a big be able to pass, see the floor, facilitate the way Marc Gasol can. Big Game, how different and dynamic is that?
Yeah, it's one thing to get your passes from a guard, LeBron driving downhill, the quickness of a guard. It's another thing to be within your offense after the defense has stymied your fast break, and now you're into a shot clock situation, and you have someone who is 7 feet tall, who has great vision, great wisdom, who can pull the trigger from the top of the key or from anywhere, but particularly from the top of the key. It is like having a quarterback or another point guard out there who sees things, who can get you shots when the shot clock is running down. An amazing pass, one of the best bigs I've seen do it. And he can make that late pass. If you're cutting, if you're moving, and the defense thinks they've got you covered, take a deep breath, and he'll snap you the late pass, and it'll be right where you can lay it up. So he's an amazing, visionary of the game, where he sees it from that position.
The thing about him being able to shoot 3 ball, it pulls those bigs out. And in this day and age, the game is played outside the 3. So if you have that big that can shoot the 3, it makes that driving lane that much better. And his vision is so great, like you said. But you always have to look at his passes. I don't even think he looks at his offensive player. He looks at the defender and see where he cannot reach to get the basketball, because every time he throws the ball, he throws it at the perfect angle where they can't either knock it away or tip it out, because that's what it's all about. And then that leaves his offensive player to usually catch it in the right place to lay it up. So his vision is phenomenal, and knowing what a defender can do and getting the ball in the right place so he can be the perfect QB.
It's almost like he throws it at a space, Rob, instead of at the defender. That's a good point. That's what I'm trying to say.
Of course, he came in and we heard all about his defense. He had 4 blocks last night, Brez. We saw what he can do, and we're seeing what he can do in terms of facilitating. But it all came together with the scoring. Hadn't hit a field goal until last night. Frank said he had to put him in better positions, but it's nice to see Mark get it going. Yeah, kind of a weird couple games. 2 points total over his first 2 games of the Lakers. But as far as the 3 ball, all right, at some point next month, Marc Gasol will hit his 400th career 3. Okay? The Lakers, last season, they had Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee. Combined, they hit 16 threes in their career. So a big step up in that sense, as far as like a guy who can hit from deep. He's even better than his brother. And Pau Gasol was a very gifted mid-range shooter. He was fantastic in the 16 to 18-foot range for a 7-footer. Mark is taking it one step further and has throughout most of his career. He can hit the 3 ball.
You see some big numbers there, of course. The last game, he's not going to get 3 threes every night and block 4 shots every night, but those are the type of numbers they're hoping to get from him more often than less, obviously.
Again, it just continues to show how deep, how versatile the Lakers will be this season. I couldn't help but think after last night, after the Christmas Day game, when Mark, again, only 2 free throws, but AD said to him inside the locker room, just wait until you get going. You know, you think of how potent this offense can really be. Last night we saw another element to what the Lakers really possess.
Yeah, no question. I mean, and it's up to Coach Vogel to find the right combination and the right plays. And in the last game, they made sure that they had LeBron cutting or Kuz cutting where the defense had to help a little bit. And then that left him out there very nice and wide open. He took 2 or 3 threes where he uncontested. I think the coaching staff is trying to finally find the right combination and plays that work for him where he can either be an asset passing the ball or stretching the floor.
No, for me, I look at him playing the first 2 games. It was almost like he was just trying to fit in. But now he's just playing the game and letting the game come to him and just trying to be a boss about the situation. Because a lot of times when you're on a new team like this, you're just trying to fit in instead of just playing basketball. Now he's playing basketball, and that's making him fit in.
A boss.
And that is a result of what's the word?
Veteраnism.
Veteраnism. Thank you. Rob, we missed you so much. It's time for a little Access 360. James has brought the heat, brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.
Good time.
Good times. We've talked a lot about offense this show. Let's get to where the Lakers really want to get things done on the defensive end of the floor. Last night, 14 blocks, guys, without Anthony Davis. What are you liking so far?
I like Kuz blocking shots, but right here we're going to show you a little bit of everything. And it ain't always about blocking. It's about being in position. Right here you see they're defending out of bounds ball. They kick it in. Here's the thing. Most guys will give up on this play, but look at KCP. He's up denying this guy, trying to deny the ball. He doesn't. But look, Gasol says, you know what? I got your back. My bed is going to set screen right here. We're going to trap you. And then I'm just fall on, use my big body, try to get the ball. Even though he doesn't get this ball, he causes havoc. Look where he's playing defense so far above 3-point line. I know he's engaged. Right here, another position. He's talking to LeBron. I got you. LeBron tries to fight over the screen. Look at Mark. Mark's eyeballing. So I got your back. You know, I'm moving my feet, stay big. LeBron gets back and tries to tip it away. But look, I don't get it. But Kuz, you know what? I got your back, LBJ. Right here, I'm going to block a shot. Whoa, Kuz block a shot without fouling. Let's have a parade. Now we're off to the races here. You know what? I just blocked that shot. I'm feeling good by myself. You know what? I'm going to J you up right here. Bam. Ooh, Trey ball in the face. Off to the races. Right here, you got another position. LeBron is on the ball. He's talking to him. He got backspin. Right here, look at the position. He's in line with the defender. He's eyeballing. He's down in position to play. LeBron fights over the screen. Look, we're going to hold. But here's defense starts. It starts with your hands, getting turnovers. Now we're off to the races again. You know what? I'm going to pass it up this time because I just traded you up. Now I'm going to give it to my man KCP for a layup. Good ball, man. Here, another position right. Look, this is the thing. Look at the Rook, though. We're going to talk about Rook. Look at the position he's in. Even though his hands are down, but he's in position to move his feet. He puts his hands up. He uses those long arms, those 7-foot arms he got. Tips the ball off to the races again. Right now, we got Wesley coming down. Gives it up right here to who started the little break. Got 1, 2, 3 defenders on him. That's what you do. Pass the ball, Rook to the guy who's probably the best scorer in the league in the paint right there with Dredge Harrell. So off to the races. The defense leads to fast break, leads to easy points in the paint.
Just like the Lakers dominating the last 2 games. Big shot, Rob. Welcome. Dominating Access 360. Well done, as always. Tip-off is coming up at the top of the hour here on Spectrum Sportsnet. THT is ready when called upon. Last night he scored 12 points in 21 minutes. But he's backed it up with his performance as well. Dennis the Menace, as they call him, has wasted no time, averaging 14.6 boards and 6 assists through 3 games thus far, shooting a solid 47% from the field. What has worked for him, and how does he plan to contain one of the hottest scorers in today's game tonight? Dennis is standing by with our Mike Trudell.
All right, guys. Dennis Schroeder is kind enough to join us here at Staples Center. Dennis, first of all, just want to get your early impressions of what it's like being a Laker, what it's like playing with some of your new teammates, and how this experience has hit you so far.
So far, so good. I think first day in, AD, LeBron, all my teammates did a great job, uniting us. I think everybody's together. We're doing a great job, of team chemistry, having fun, and know when it's serious and when it's time to practice. So excited.
You, of course, are from Germany, and I'm not sure how many people in Los Angeles realize there are a ton of Laker fans in Germany. So just wondered if you could explain to us when the news hit, when you found out about the trade, and how people got to be Laker fans in Germany and how much of a thing it is over there.
I mean, it's big time. When it hit the news, everybody went crazy. You know, I was with my family. I got so many text messages. So everybody's excited for me. My family is excited, and I mean, we can't wait. You know, that my family comes over here. You know, see it when the pandemic is kind of over, when it slows down. So we all excited to be here.
All right, Dennis, so in California, I'd say the Lakers are sort of like the equivalent of Bayern Munich in terms of how big a club is in Germany. But I don't know if that's your team. What's your squad? Do you have a Bundesliga team?
Yeah, I know a lot of soccer players personally. So, I mean, I like Munich. You know, Munich is a great club. Dortmund is a great club. But, I mean, in Europe, you know, I got one or two teams. I like Man United. It's a nice club.
Oh yes, that's my squad. That's my squad. I'm a Red Devil. I'd
yeah,
like to hear that, buddy.
Yeah, that's my squad as well. So it's a couple of teams I like.
All right, very good. So for tonight's matchup, you're going against a team that of course has two of the premier scoring guards in the NBA, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Just wonder what your mindset is defensively when you see guys over on that side of the court.
I mean, you know, they a dynamic duo. You know, we try to do our best, you know, to get stops. You know, try to make sure we locked in for 48 minutes, you know, on the defensive end, and the offensive end just play, you know. But they too are the great, you know, in the league, scoring the basketball. So we got to be aware of it.
All right, Dennis, thanks for the time, man. Have a good game.
Thank you.
Guys, we've talked about it since Dennis was acquired. The Lakers have not had a dynamic point guard like him in at least the last decade. He can score in a variety of ways. Big game, you played next to one of the greatest to ever do it at that position. How different, how nice does it make it for the ball club to have a guy like that at the head of the snake?
Yeah, it makes a huge difference when you have a guy, especially like Schroeder, who is a proven point guard, has gotten better over the years. We talked about him being second runner-up to Montrezl Harrell's Sixth Man of the Year. So, and he wanted to start. When a player comes in and tells you that means he knows what he wants to do, really wants to, you know, consummate a relationship with AD like Rondo had. You know, so you lose a guy like Rondo and you bring in somewhat of a younger version of him, more of a threat, I think, offensively, whether he's shooting the three, whether he's going downhill, has the floaters. Defensively, I think it's still a challenge for him, especially going up against, you know, elite point guards. But he can also pose a threat to the two players that he's going to be playing against tonight. So that's where he kind of, you know, balances things out. And we talked about the extension, Rob. They're already talking about it.
You know, the thing I liked about him, I watched him over his career, and I think his maturation has been wonderful, and has led him up to this point where he knows that he's not going to be the star of a team. Because when he first came in this league, he wanted to be the star. He was taking a lot of ill-advised shots. He was playing not together. He wasn't playing in that unit. But here, as he went to OKC, and they played there, and you should see how he just developed as a player. He almost won, you know, Sixth Man of the Year. Now he brought that skill set to the Lakers, and he's understanding, look, you know what, I'm playing one of the greatest players in the game. I can play off the ball, but sometimes I like when he takes the ball out of LeBron's hands. So LeBron, get down. Let me get you an easy shot like you got me an easy shot. And that's what it's all about, being a great teammate. And right now, he's playing wonderful basketball.
Let me get you a shot like you got me a shot, but I can also go get mine as you sit there and
take a break.
Thank you. You got it. 2 moments,
Chill.
Before we get to take your shot. Hey guys, check out this shot. It's an HORSNDE. That's Blazers assistant coach and former Laker, Gennaro Pargo. Rob, did he ever take money off you?
I played with Pargo. Pargo owed me money.
Of course he did. Of course he did. Kyle Kuzma, who started in place of Anthony Davis, hit 3 consecutive three-pointers to start the game, ended up with a team-high 20 points. Davis did not play in the first of the back-to-back last night with a bruised right calf, but he will play tonight. But LeBron James tweaked his left ankle for the second time this season in the win over the T-Wolves. After initially being considered questionable, LeBron is active and, of course, starting tonight. Finally, Portland enters this season with high expectations. They've split their first 2 games, most recently edging out the Rockets in an overtime thriller on Saturday. The backcourt tandem of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum combined for 76 points and 14 three-pointers. However, Carmelo Anthony did not make the trip to LA due to health and safety protocols. So, what does the starting lineup for both the Portland Trail Blazers and the Lakers look like? Back to normal for the Lake Show. First, the Blazers, led by that tandem. Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum in the backcourt. Derek Jones, Robert Covington, and Yusuf Nurkic down low. Guys, when it comes to Dame, he has the second highest average versus the Lakers. Little under 28 points a game versus the Lake Show. There's only one guy, obviously, who has a higher scoring average. Anyone know? Anyone want to take a guess who that is in the history of the game?
Hello. Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan! That is it. How will the Lakers slow down Damian Lillard? What is the key to success, Big Game?
Well, you have to do it by committee. You know, he's almost an unstoppable player. You have to play defense early with him because his range is as soon as he crosses half court. But he runs a lot of slants and a lot of cuts to get open off of these little picks, these little brush picks. And that's where you have to be alert because he's a catch and shoot guy. Maybe switch if you have to. I'd try that. But he's a guy you have to pay attention to and make him work on the other end. Try to get him in foul trouble if you can. It's hard to do, but you got to make him work on the other end.
Yeah, it's easy to say, like, you know, but to implement it is kind of hard when you got a guy who's dynamic with the ball as he is. So you just have to stay big and hope that your bigs can help. It's going to be a community, not just one guy playing defense.
Yeah, if Schroeder is on him, you know, it's going to be fun to watch that. Schroeder, undersized, but a feisty defender, likes to get out on those point guards and see what he can do if indeed he is matched up against Dame. Not like he's going to get a break if he's not, because then he has McCollum. So I'm going to be watching Schroeder a lot defensively.
He always plays with such an edge. Dame said today that the Lakers probably had the hottest offseason, gave him credit, but he said it's not like we can't win. Yeah. It's not like we can't win the game. The Blazers, by the way, 11-1 inside Staples Centers since 2013, 2014.
And no Caruso tonight, right?
And no Caruso.
So that's really going to be a factor that could hurt them defensively.
You know what time it is. Take your shot. It's brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. You'll each pick a Laker that you think will impact this game and tell us how. And Big Game, you're rolling with the big fella.
Finally got a chance to see his potential. You know, got him set up in the right kind of, you know, offense with the right players on the floor. Didn't miss a shot, Brad. I think it was 4-4 from the floor. Yep. Made all 3 of his threes and hit his free throw. And I think had 7 assists. So, you know, he's an intelligent player. Doesn't play outside the box. Very, very impactful. And hopefully we can continue that as he gets used to his new teammates.
Rob?
I took Wesley Matthews. I just knew LeBron was not going to play tonight because of tweaking his ankle for a second time.
You just knew wrong.
So I just knew wrong. I just knew it. I knew it.
Still a good pick, though, Rob.
It's still a good pick because this guy is, you know, like I said earlier, how Powell is trying. I said Powell. Mark is trying to figure it out. This guy's trying to figure it out too because he's playing with some great guys. So I'm excited to see he's going out and playing a little better each and every game. So hopefully he have a good game tonight because he had to guard some good guards tonight.
He can definitely light it up. You'd like to see him get going for sure. Prez.
Rob, you're not the only one. I thought LeBron might sit this one out. I was thinking Schroeder would come in there and be that playmaker. That's why the Lakers got him, in addition for his stingy defense. He likes to obviously distribute the ball. A little bit quiet last game for him. Last night, we'll see how he does in the back-to-back. Again, defense going to be big for him tonight, and offense as well.
Who you got, Allie?
I'm going to go with LeBron. Because none of you took him.
Did you think he was going to play? You didn't think he was going to play?
I had the inside scoop. Just kidding. I had no idea. But I'll go with LeBron.
Always a good choice.
Want to make sure that ankle feels good. Great to see him out there. You know, I'll take Anthony Davis as well. Coming up a game where he's